All right. Welcome to another episode of the Thought Candy Podcast. It's your boy, Mr. Millionaire Mindset.
And Philly is in the building. Who was
Yes,
going
sir.
on?
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, another beautiful day in paradise, man. I'm gonna tell you, I cannot complain. But if I did, nobody would listen anyway. So it's all good, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, what's going on with you, Doug?
I'm hanging tough, brother. Hanging tough. Just another day. Just another day, another dollar.
That's
We
how
got
we
a
do
couple
it.
gentlemen on the guest panel with us this evening, Mr.
All right.
Malachi Mitchell.
All right,
Yes,
shout them
sir.
out. Shout them out. Shout
Yes,
them out.
sir.
Yeah, and our militant Christian is in the building. Salute to you, Kings. Great evening to you guys. How y'all doing?
Indeed, man. Good to be back.
It sure
Yeah,
is. God is good.
absolutely. We believe in return performances, repeat performances. So y'all come on and
No
bring
doubt.
whatever you're gonna bring to the topic today. But hey, listen, we appreciate you guys chiming in. We appreciate all those who will be viewing this episode. We always we always want to inspire, educate, motivate. I almost forgot my own mantra and motto. We want to motivate, inspire, educate. All right, with every piece of information that we share, every topic we discuss, we hope we provide some value for you guys. And so we want to do that today. Let's go on and just jump right in. Without delay.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
the topic, man, mass shootings. We
Mm.
want to talk
Mass
about these
shooting.
mass shootings.
Mass
And,
shooting.
it seemed to be quite frequent that we're hearing about this on the news. I can see some things on my phone, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But um, how do you feel about it? Anybody can come on and chime in. How do you feel about all these mass shootings that are occurring in the world over the last, up from recent on back, say 10 years?
I don't look at it as a surprise because of the way the world is right now, the way where we're headed in this world. The the heart of man is wicked anyway.
Mm.
Mm,
So when you
mm.
think about the heart of man, anything that man does in an evil form shouldn't be any surprise to us because that's expected of a person that's evil.
Mhm.
And when you look at all these mass shootings and things, there's a lot of views on why, who it was, how it happened, their background, and then the ultimate question is how can it be stopped? And when you look at it, as far as my feelings is, it hurts. It's a sad thing for all victims involved,
Mm.
and it's something that I feel is going to continue and it's going to get worse. Now, as we go along in this conversation, there's going to be a lot of things that'll be brought out. But far as you started out just to say how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm upset eh, per se, but it does upset me, that somebody would go in and just shoot innocent people. That makes you upset, pisses you off or whatever. It just makes you mad. But there's a whole lot of background that we can dig up in this conversation. A
And,
lot. So
Absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely. This will be just part one of many. All right, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell, militant Christian, sir. Come on in
I,
and share
I
your
would say, I
feedback.
would say, first of all, giving honor to God, thank both of you brothers for doing a great job. I talked to plenty of other people that see the podcast, so you should be getting a lot more comments. I've been letting a lot of people know I got a lot of friends in different states, and I just once it
Appreciate
appears,
that.
put it on Facebook, and they like to comment. So I'm like, if you really want to be involved, contact me in a mindset, the address, and do what you should, do what you can. On the
Thank you.
subject matter, um, the biggest thing for me is that man has gotten away from the consciousness and the responsibility of God. So when we thought more godly, we acted as better as a group of people. Nowadays, And the Bible does talk about even your life, your very life is not your own. So for somebody to think they can take another person's life or to take their own life, they ought to order with God first. That's first. And for those who don't recognize God, you will. You just don't do it now. Because just like God made the good man or the man to be good, he made other men to be evil. God is in control of all things, from my understanding. So the way I feel about it is very simple. This is my personal feeling. When I was away from God and away from following his way, I was doing my own thing. And I was responsible for me. Once I started serving God, I had to put me aside. And once I put me aside and humbled myself, then I realized I had a different way of thinking and acting. So the way I feel about it is that man has lost so much of the goodness of God that he's out of control. And according to what the minister said, it's supposed to be like that, according to the way the time is, if you read. But I would say this and leave it and end it on this. If we get back to godly ways or get back to the ways of being better people, following, again, the laws, commandments, statutes, ordinances, you're just following God's ways. There's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing evil about that. And anything other than that, you're going to have what you have today.
Oh, man, that's deep. Yeah. Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
One of the commandments.
Yeah.
And
talking
it
to me
seems
again.
to be very frequent that they aren't listening to that. So, maybe they aren't godly people. And anybody that's using God's name behind what they're doing is pure evil. We're talking about mass shootings, Mr. Will Stir. Welcome to the line. We appreciate you chiming in. Come on and unmute yourself and let us know how you feel about the state of the world and these mass shootings that have been occurring over, I said over the last 10 years. Of course, we know it's been longer than that, but what's your feeling on these mass shootings in general?
Well, I'm sure you guys already mentioned they had one in Monterey just a couple of days ago. I'm sure that's probably been brought up, right?
We didn't even talk about where and how, just the fact that they're happening, sir. So
that they're happening?
You can expound however you want to.
The reason that they're happening, I don't know why it's happening. All I can say is
how you feel about it. It doesn't have to necessarily be why. It's how do you feel about the fact that they are happening?
Well, it's a tragedy that is happening. I mean, anytime there's loss of life, just by merely just being out in society, just, going about everyday thing, innocent lives are lost. And a lot of times it's by deranged people. They have twisted points of views of whatever it is that they have, or it has to do, I believe, with them, their lack of faith and no regard for human life. I just, I know it's happening more and more. And I believe that the exposure in the media has a lot to do with it. A lot of people do things just for fame. There's people that's gone down in history for taking lives of famous individuals. And a lot of times people want their little 10 or 15 minutes of fame, however they get it. Even if it's in a negative way. It can go all the way back in history, like with assassinations of presidents and so on and so forth. I heard the guy just the other day, I believe one of the people mentioned John Wilkes Booth and these other people whose names are famous. So they know that their name's going to be out there for a long time when they look back on these incidents. And I think if they stop spotlighting these people that commit these type of crimes, because if you think we didn't have access to all of this social media and the instant news that we get right now. Sometimes we would hear about things back in the day, it would be a few days later. We hear it instantly now. So I think the media, the exposure, the publicity, and all of that plays a part I don't think it's right. I think most people in the world don't really think. They just respond to situations. They don't think about it. They just do it, and then they, don't even think about suffering the consequences. Sometimes it's like a self-suicide thing. Like, I've heard of people committing crimes because they want to die and they want the police to shoot them, take them out, but they want to take a whole bunch of people with them.
Well,
Wow.
let's cut
Yeah.
to the chase here, man. We let's cut to the chase. It's simple. It's hate. It's hate. It's hate is love. It's hate is love. Why do people do that? Then probably because he didn't get his order right at McDonald's, and he goes out and just start. I mean, a lot of his hate, a lot of that stuff is taught. You look at these. I was looking at something probably about 2 months ago. 6-year-old girl in Virginia. Pop's got her a gun. He's teaching her how to shoot at 6 years old. 6. Now he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's to protect herself if something happens." What? A 6-year-old little girl? I mean, come on. So to me, it's all about hate. And this is one thing we forgot as well. Yes, we see these mass shootings. We're not thinking about what's going on with the person. I mean, mental issues may play a big problem.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they all or race based, but I would probably say 90% of them are. That's just how I look. That's my opinion. You guys can come in and chime in on it. But
hey, okay, so you're talking about mental issues. I like the points that have been brought up. There's some lack of God in this thing. There's some hate involved. There's some clout chasing involved because people want their 15 minutes of fame.
Good.
I really just feel like, oh my goodness.
How do you feel, Doug?
I'm speechless really when it comes to it because it's become so frequent that it's almost being normalized, y'all. Every time you look up, I'm looking at my phone and I had 2 updates about some shootings that happened. It's just happening too frequently, for words. And the fact that we do have the internet and access, they're putting it out there and they're sensationalizing this thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a whole lot of punishment behind it.
That is.
Today, right quick, I'm just looking at the news. I rarely look at the news because the news is nothing but bad news.
It's depressing.
I looked at the news today. We all been there. Will's been there. I know Malachi's been there. James been there. Half Moon Bay. We all know Humphreys. 7 killed yesterday. Right in our backyard. Right here in San Diego. Just today. On the news. Right there where Humphreys is at.
Right.
In a prominent neighborhood. So I would look at it, and I say that because I know somebody's going to bring it up. We have mass shootings. Because I know I said something about race. Chi-Town, Chirac, what they call it. Man, that's last 2 years is every day. It's every single day. So it's happening, just not in the hoods, not just in urban areas. That's a prominent area. Half the day out there. Everywhere. If all you guys know what I'm talking about. We all been there. We clubbed there. We partied there. We went to the beach there. We was there. Last Juneteenth? Will we was there?
Yeah. So, but some of this stuff is copycat shootings. People just want to be a part of whatever's going on because who knows, that might spur a third shooting somewhere. And now it puts in, where are they getting these guns from?
There we go.
Where are they getting all of these guns from?
And now we're going into gun laws now.
That's multifaceted.
We had a 6-year-old shoot the teacher about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing though, Will. You know how we say, like, I was gonna speak on like what Mr. Sean said when he spoke about what we can do about it as far as like gun control and things of those natures. It's kind of hard only because you know that if they make up laws to kids so they can't get certain types of guns, they still are eligible to get one. And then if they don't, they can always go out on the street. So what you gonna do about the street cat who trying to make his money? He don't care about who he sell it to. 16-year-old, 5-year-old, long as they got the money to buy it. I know some right now.
Well, there's
I
a
don't
way
get it.
around it all. There's a way around it all because I
Yeah,
mean
that's what I'm
they're
saying,
making
Doug.
ghost. That's why they're making ghost guns and stuff.
Yeah, you can't go wait
Because
on
you know
legislation.
anything can happen, and you can build your own gun in any
Yeah, I
form
heard
of
that too. Yeah,
fashion.
that's sad. That's sad.
You talking about
Yeah.
zip guns? You talking about zip guns?
Yeah, he talking
All
about
of
building
it.
your own gun. It still
Ghost
work.
guns, zip
It'll
guns,
work.
they work. They work.
Yeah,
Yeah, them
yeah.
ghost
And they're
guns. I
making
think
them
the
more
ghost
sophisticated now.
Yeah, yeah, and
ghost
they will
guns
kill
are
you.
made out of plastic, right?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
They're undetectable
Undetectable,
from
Yes, sir.
metal
undetectable,
detectors.
no serial numbers or none
No,
of
even
that.
the
Right.
bullet is, but it will kill you. It
Yeah.
can kill you.
Absolutely. People are
But you look
dying.
at
So
as far as what is this, the 23rd January?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And there's just in California alone, there's been 38
30
mass shootings.
38.
And just in California, there's been 4.
Mm.
So we just started the new year.
Mm.
So
Wow.
you can imagine
Wow.
what the first quarter is going to look like.
Wow.
And then you wonder, the question I had posed is why? And then I heard my brother say, where they get these guns from. And here's my take on this. A lot of people, they're arguing about gun control. They're arguing about stop the violence. You can't stop the violence. How are you going to stop the violence? Violence is since the age of man, since Cain and Abel, there's always been violence, and there's always going to be violence. As long as man is in the condition he's in right now, violence is going to be here until Jesus comes back.
Amen.
That's just a fact of life.
Amen.
anybody that's in need or hurting or struggling, yeah, they're gonna do
Right.
whatever they by any means necessary.
We can talk about it. We can pray about it. We can do whatever. Violence is always going to be here, but it is good to talk about it. Talk about the hurt. Talk about the pain. Talk about the death and how can we help in the aftermath? Because as long as there's guns, there's always going to be death. And how do you get rid of the guns that are already out there? You can have community gun roundups until we're always going to have guns. We talked about the ghost guns. We talked about the handmade guns, things like that. They got conversations on how to prevent gun violence. Well, okay, that's a good conversation, but at the end of the day, nobody really has an answer because you're dealing, like we talked about, psychologically. We're dealing with emotions. We're dealing with mental issues. We're dealing with physical issues. There's a whole lot of variables why people do what they do. And it's sad that, somebody's mindset says, I think you should get mad at their order is wrong. They get mad. That's a mental thing. That hate is a mental thing.
So what's okay? All right. So I hear what you're saying, Malachi. Exactly. It's been here since the beginning of time. It's going to continue to be here, but to the extent of where it's becoming mass meaning an abundance of. Why is it such an abundance of it right now opposed to 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago? I mean, maybe it's always been there and we haven't seen it because we were younger, but
yes.
I mean, it's Sean is right. It's mass. It's not regular shooting. It's mass shootings.
Yeah.
You said how many did you say, Malachi, in San Diego?
In California, just in California, there's four mass shootings since we got in the new year.
38.
And in Chicago, that could be in 1 week. That could be in one day.
Easily.
Easily. I mean, here's the thing. We talk about the mental thing too.
Yeah.
It can't be a mental plea after the fact when somebody has exhibited those traits.
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing, because there's been a lot of situations where they've displayed mental instability prior to, and somehow they got a hold of a gun or were had permission or license to get a gun. What you think is going to happen? If somebody has been mentally unstable, run-ins with the law, complaints about erratic behavior and nobody really addressed it or dealt with it. And then something like this happens. That's not always the case, but I've seen it. So then to me, you can't really do a mental insanity plea if you already been acting a certain type of way,
Well,
and nobody stopped it.
Well, because you
we're
can
not
be
talking
crazy.
conviction, though.
Go ahead.
We're not talking conviction. We're talking about it happening, and to be out there, it is a small percentage that may be mentally ill, be it military, be the way they were born, be whatever. Schizophrenic, I don't know. So I can't just rule that out 100% and say, no, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing at the time. I know how I am. I know my anger issues. I think all you guys know me. You know me very well. Some know me more than most. I go 1 to 10 real quick. I had to sit there, and I ain't gonna sit here and say who got firearms and things of that nature. I had to sit there and pack mine up and put it in storage because I know how I get. And it's scary. It's scary to me sometimes. I'm scared of myself sometimes. That's real talk.
Yeah.
Because
The mind can snap so quick.
Yeah, me
quick.
too. Come on.
And it's after the fact. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, so I can understand that small percentage. This is, man, dude just snapped. He just snapped for whatever reason. Now to sit there and spray down, 7 to 10 Asians for no reason. He may have got pissed off at one and said, "I'm gonna get him." I don't know. I can't speak for him. I'm just saying that mental thing.
Yeah, it plays a big part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Militant Christian. I just wanted to say that age-wise, I want to transition because we don't have a whole lot of time. Age-wise, I kind of did some research, and the average age was about 33 of the perpetrator of these crimes. But I wanted to pose the question to you guys: what about when they are underage and not yet adults, and they commit these type of crimes? Do you feel like they should be tried as adults? Let's say they're 17, maybe 18.
Oh, yeah.
Should they be tried as adults, or should their parents be held accountable?
Both.
Especially if they took their parents' gun. Somebody, come on,
both.
Malachi, chime in.
Both. That there, I'd put the responsibility mainly on the parents. Now, of course, the child could have gone in and gotten their gun. Why isn't it locked away? Why isn't it in storage? Why is it in a gun safe? That child had access somehow. Either he knew where the key was, he knew where the lock was, the combination, something, in order to get it was open, or else he would not, or he or she, whomever, had access to the gun. So I put a lot of that responsibility on the parents because they're the adult. The child now is either acting out. He's like, oh, I think it's cool because of all these video games, they shooting up all these in these video games and they think it's fun. And now they want to take the video game to the real world. They want to go out and I don't know what's those games called where y'all know them. I don't play the video games.
You're talking about like paintball and stuff.
No.
It's more serious than paintball.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. That's it. So now they got their
Black Ops. Black Ops.
Right. They got their own Black Ops and Duty, Call of Duty, and now they're taking it out to the streets. So one, yes, the parents should take full responsibility, and yes, that child, if it's 17, 18, need to be tried as an adult.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how many gentlemen on the panel actually own a firearm, and I'm not going to take account. But what's the reason do you actually own one in the first place? And then you wonder, okay, if I have it, it's got to be locked away. The bullets got to be here. The guns got to be here. What if you have a home invasion like I had happened to me?
Me too.
There's no way I could have actually protected myself. So you get it for protection. So
absolutely.
If you buy the firearm and you got to lock it in the garage, I mean, it's kind of like,
defeats the purpose, huh?
It defeats the purpose of actually having a gun for protection. That criminal now, he's coming in the house, and if he knows you're in that house, 9 chances out of 10, he's going to be armed.
Right.
He's not coming in there shooting, so now you have the gun in your home. You got it where you think is a safe place. The child knows where it is. Maybe you move it every other week or whatever. But say he gets a hold of it. You don't know he has it. The 6-year-old, we don't know whether or not that 6-year-old was told to do this, to shot the teacher that he should live. Thank God she lived. But the point is this: you got a gun to protect you and your family, but then you can't really have access to it because they're going to blame the parent no matter what you say. Right, Malachi? They're going to blame the parent.
Yeah.
So
But see,
now I took my kids to the range. Matter of fact, one of them got the lovely so well, they were doing the sideway and all this stuff. I said, hey, you gotta tap it down something. But I'm just saying, why have the gun in the first place?
Yeah,
But then
it's definitely a
I'm
home
for the good
protection
guy.
Factor. It's a protection factor.
I
It's
believe
for protection, but you're not able to get to it, Sean.
yeah, but see, there's a way. Hold on, but see, like Malachi is it Malachi?
Yes.
Like Brother Malachi was saying, that's where we have to take the responsibility. Okay, like if I'm a parent, I got a gun in my home. I know I got it for protection. I know I got children in the home. That's number 2. I know our kids here Christ to be one. That's number 3. So it's my job. It ain't the kid's job. And I understand they can get it without you knowing it, whatever. But they're not gonna have that easy access to it. Now, me, I do understand because he makes a very valid point. You gotta have access to it if you need it. You ain't got time. Ain't no criminal gonna give you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna rob. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna hold up. Wait till you go get your gun first, then I'm gonna rob you. No, he gonna go ahead and do what he gotta do.
That's
right.
Yeah.
He's not
absolutely.
gonna wait on you. Oh, wait a minute, you gonna call 911, but let me put my gun down. Let me know when you're ready. Then I point at your daughter. That's no. So I'm with Will on that. But you still like say for example, when I had my gun in the house, I had it in a safe. Now, I had a combination safe because sometimes the key too big to mess with. But you gotta be quick as you can to get to it.
Yeah.
Then I would take that safe and put it somewhere I know my child couldn't find. At least I thought. Okay, I thought.
It's a fine line, y'all. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
I don't
we
even
go on.
that's like
I
what
don't
comes
even
first, the
advertise
chicken or
that.
the egg. I mean, it's 6 or 1.
Yeah, I know.
It's ways
I'm
now.
just
They
saying
got
you try to do what you can. That's all.
Now
they
these
have
are
different ways.
we're
It's
talking
different
mass
ways.
shootings. You're not going to mass shoot nobody with no 9mm. These guys are using like MK.
No,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Automatics.
we're talking about mass.
Yeah.
Most parents don't own those type of guns. These people are getting these guns someplace else.
That's right.
Well, it's more common that people have these assault weapons. And
They do. They have
in
assault
their
weapons in
homes.
their
Oh
homes.
yeah. There's a lot of gun
The
collectors.
AR-15.
And I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. I don't know. In the hood, I grew up in the hood. I don't know a whole lot of us that got those, but I know. Hey, them old phase, as my man Will would say. But hey, them folks of a lighter shade, a whole lot lighter than I am. They got them weapons.
They got
Yeah.
them.
They
They
got
got
them.
them.
Like I said, they're making them. They're making them.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they
so
read.
if it's a mass
swarming
if it's a mass shooting, which is what we're talking about here, most people, a lot of people I know, they have handguns. People that I know don't know people that's got AR-15s and all of that.
Unless they've been
they're
in the
ready.
service.
Huh?
Unless they've been in the service.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
They're
that
licensed.
changes.
Is there a number of mass?
So
Because
you're
to
not
me,
gonna be
more
able to
than 4
stop
or 5 people getting shot is massive enough. And as the numbers go up, it gets more massive. But is there a number for a mass shooting? What's the standard number for that for it to be
You
considered?
mean what, 5
mass?
or more?
I say
Or
yeah,
some number?
5 or more.
It's
I put out there 5.
That's what I'm saying, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a 9mm can hold up to 17, 18 rounds.
Right.
You can hurt some people.
That's mass.
That's mass enough for me.
Yeah, but
Hey,
in
a
the
6-shooter is mass.
That's right.
It don't have to be 20 people that got hurt.
He said 16
but you know what? I truly believe that one thing that will help us, even if we can't stop the mass shootings, I believe one thing that helps us control it, at least, or control how we deal with it, is awareness. And what I mean by awareness is, it's been a minute, but most of us on this panel know that when we was out in the streets, even if we wasn't so ghetto, we had to watch our 360-degree area. You know what I mean? And so I kind of mean that same type of awareness. Like you got to be aware where you at and who you're around. You know how youngsters are. They scared. They're not like us. They're not gonna fight and get beat up. They're gonna run and get a gun. So I think you need, and I'm not just blaming them. I'm just making a point. So you have to really be aware of yourself and your surroundings because anything could happen anywhere. And this is proven that these mass shootings. So I just believe awareness. I can say trust in God. Not everybody gonna do that, but awareness is something you can use of your 360 degree to keep an eye on what's going on around you.
Well,
I think it all begins with education, I believe.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Malachi.
Yeah, we on the same line. It all boils down to more education in the home.
Yes, sir.
If there was more education in the home from the parents,
we're talking about using guns. We're talking about gun usage.
All of it. Whatever it takes for that child to be safe in that home where a parent has a handgun, has a rifle, has ammunition. There's courses that the parents can take to teach their children even before you pass to get your gun. There's certain things that you have to know. There's certain things you have to understand. And there's even things that a child has to understand. There's an order that a child has to understand. I'm not sure the order, but it's if a child sees a gun, what do? Stop. Tell an adult. Go get a parent. Something like
Don't
that.
touch it.
I think 5 that you have to know. And I think if that is stressed in the home more so, it's just like teaching a child about the stove. You turn the stove on, it's hot. You teach that child, don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove. But the child touches the stove, what happens?
They burn themselves.
Well, they get burned. That's a serious lesson. You know, they're crying, you going, see, I told you not to touch that, didn't I? Why can't the parent teach them the same with the gun? Just sit the child down and say, this is a gun, these are bullets. Tell them exactly what it does, how it does, what can happen if they misuse it. There's a lot that goes into awareness. There's a lot that goes into teaching. There's a lot that goes into understanding what that weapon can do. Now, sure, they're trying to make the laws tougher, but these people already have guns. You know, the laws that they're changing now are for people that can't get the AR-14, 15s or whatever, M69s or all the rest of them, you know, Glock 9s and M60s and, you know, to make it harder for them to get it. But what about the people that already have the guns, those in the backwoods?
That's right. That's all they do. That's all they do.
That's all
they
know.
You know, basically, you're talking, Malachi, you're talking gun safety in the home.
Right.
And you know, and they have argued legislation as to all of the guidelines and all of the stuff you have to do. But we got the dark web. They're sold on the dark web.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a lot. Well, let's hone it back. Let's hone it back a little bit because I think Sean, we kind of got off of it. Sean asked a legitimate question when he was talking about should kids, you know, be tried as an adult? Let's say a 12-year-old kid, or should the parents be tried, you know, or be held responsible, or both? I know Malachi said both.
I agree.
I was just talking. I was talking to Sean on our pre-call. Young kid, I think he was 10 years old. He wanted the Oculus. He wanted the Oculus gaming system he wanted to order it online. Mama said, no, you can't get it. It's a 10-year-old boy. 10-year-old boy, he didn't have the key to mama's safe, but she kept her gun in the safe. He got the key when mama was asleep or doing whatever out of her purse, opened the safe, took the gun, shot mama in the face, killed mama, point blank. Ohio, somewhere in Ohio. I don't want to say clear. Somewhere in Ohio. What he did after that, mama laid down there dead. He goes online. He orders his Oculus. Like everything was fine. The sister comes in and says, what happened to mama? I don't know. She fell down.
What?
True story. I just seen it last week.
Crazy.
Yeah,
So,
you know,
so this is my
you know,
question. This is my question I pose to you guys. You know, we're talking about gun safety and this, that, and the other. Who's responsible for that? Is it that young boy? Is it the mama? Mama locked it up. Mama locked.
they both are.
Mama's gone now.
They both.
I know,
They
but
both are.
Mama locked up the. Mama locked up. You know, the
Mama
gun.
didn't want to die, so you can't blame it on her.
So who?
Right. Now you
Mama
got to go
didn't-
for the kid.
But the
Now
young
they're
kid.
gonna have that kid in the system until it's old
Thank you.
enough to be an adult.
And then they going exactly. He
Fortunate.
and they tried him as an adult. He gonna be in
Yeah.
juvie until he's 17, 18. Then he going right to the big house.
Because
Right.
they're looking at his
That's
actions.
just what it is. Yeah.
Right.
They're looking at the actions.
How do we
Yeah,
feel
All right,
about
you
looking
that?
at what
guys.
led
But
up to that.
that's kind of like an outlier, Earl. That doesn't happen. That
That doesn't
But-
happen as often as some of the
Look
other
up,
stuff that's
look
happening
up,
right now.
look up kids killing with guns. Google that, and then you'll see. Then we can come back and talk about it. It's
Okay.
more,
Okay.
it's more
Yeah.
often than we think.
okay.
All right, guys. So we are definitely at that mark right now.
Okay.
Anybody want to take no more than a minute to kind of give any final thoughts or words on this thing, because we will have to continue this, but we're gonna have to wrap it up tonight.
I would like to just say that a lot of this conversation was great from you guys. Again, there's no, I guess, right or wrong answer or best possible scenario. It depends on the situation. But two things I take out of this conversation. One is we still need more responsibility and more awareness. If I want to own a gun, I got to be responsible for it. I'm not gonna make no excuses for myself. And if I have a child, I got to be more aware. That's period. That's for me. And I can't make an excuse, because from what you guys are saying, there are consequences, and either I or my child gonna pay for our own ignorance or stupidity. So again, it still falls back on the individual or on me, because no matter what I see on the internet or TV, if I don't get it at home first, then that's gonna be my first education.
Absolutely. Big Will, come on.
I just think we need to work on whatever the solution could possibly be. We can't wait on legislation. We need to start at home as young as we possibly can, and like anything else, just bring the education to it. Let them know the dangers of it, and also watch what they're looking at on TV and YouTube and all these things, because they shooting and all this blood spatter they see, they don't think it's real until all of a sudden it comes to life when they use a real gun. So I think you just got to go back home, the solutions and things like that, and work on that, because we're not going to stop it. It's going to continue to happen. So we just got to work on it at home.
All right. Malachi?
I think it's important to understand that it all starts at home. And if there's more conversation, there needs to be a lot more talk in the home. Parents need to be able to talk to their children about what's going on at school. Children need to be able to feel free to talk to their parents, because a lot of kids, they're not free, or they don't feel free to be able to talk to their parents at home. And that line of communication needs to be wide open. My wife and I, we were looking at a program the other night, and there was a simulation of a mass shooting in a school. And one of the children, the girls, she was having psychological fallout by it. And this was a simulation. Nobody told the school or nobody told the students that this was going to be a drill, this was going to be a practice, nothing. The little girl thought it was all real. She saw her little friend get shot, supposedly laying on the ground, blood on him. She saw the guy in the hallway shooting, and it come to find out it was blanks, it was makeup and all of that, but none of the kids knew. So now here she's dealing with all this psychological fallout from something that's fake. And people don't realize the consequences behind a lot of these actions of these real mass shootings on what's happening to these children's mindsets. They need to be talked to. They need to be loved. They need to be educated. There's so much in this. We can't unpack this. I don't care how long we sit here. It's just too much to unpack. But it all starts, we got to have more conversations. Yes, we can have more prayers, but you can pray until you're blue in the face. There needs to be
Yeah.
conversation. That somebody
Yeah.
needs to talk, open up and say, hey, I'm here if you need me. I'm here to talk with you, to counsel with you, whatever it takes. You know, don't be scared to say, I need help. That's the thing. We got to teach our kids. It's not a scary thing to talk, but be able to conversate, have a communication, and just open up. Because this is a serious conversation.
Absolutely. Philly, anything?
That's it. I think what Malachi said and the other brothers as well. We have to communicate, and this is the dialogue that we're having right now to talk about this. It shouldn't stop here. We should go out and start talking to other folks about this as well. I think entertainment plays a big part as well. If you guys don't know about what happened with Alec Baldwin on the set of a movie, he was a blank, was supposed to be a blank gun, real gun, boom, somebody died. The director or assistant director, something died on the set. Yeah, and the youth, our youth, I'm not just saying our youth, but grown folks as well. They look at this. I was talking to Will today about the movie industry and what happens. There's a lot of violence. It's there in our faces. I mean, what we looked at as kids and what we looked at as youngins 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, it's changed, it's elevated 400 times now. So you can get a TV show like that. You can get it. I mean, you can see it. It's 24/7. So it's there. And we thrive on it. And now what happens? We start to act on it. I'm not saying all of us, but you got young folks out there who ain't getting the right guidance to act on those things. And that's what happens. So I'm gonna leave it there, but I appreciate the dialogue. I like the subject matter, Mr. Sean Slaughter.
Absolutely. I thank you guys for coming in and giving us some feedback. This isn't by any means done as far as conversation is concerned. We'll have to pick this up for a part 2 and maybe more. You have to have respect for these weapons. You have to have education for these weapons. You have to have knowledge and training of how to use these weapons. And you got to know the effects of the fallout when you use these weapons and what happens. And so there needs to be more education in the home. There needs to be more conversation in the home. There needs to be more love in the home. I hope that this conversation that we've had today touches somebody to the point where they want to sit down and have conversations with their kids, especially about the dangers that these weapons present and the mindsets of some of the people that are out there in the world, and just being aware of your surroundings. All right. So with that being said, we are going to sign out. We appreciate you all chiming in to Thought Candy each week. Give us some feedback. Come on and chime in and make some comments on the YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll keep bringing the heat to you. Mr. Millionaire Mindset.
Let me say this right here. 2 weeks. We putting it out there, Sean. 2 weeks, we go live. 2 weeks, we going live. In 2 weeks, we going live. So, hey, invite some folks. All you brothers here, all you kings here, invite some folks. All you subscribers looking at it right now, invite some folks. We're going to go live. Give all your information in 2 weeks. We may have some prizes and surprises. Is that right, Mr. Slaughter?
Hey, you never know.
You never know. Yes.
It might kind of resemble something.
Ooh, you got the Thought Candy mug. Ooh,
Just saying.
I need one of those.
Much love for y'all, brothers. We're going to sign this out. And
I got
hey,
the candy.
Until the next time.
There you go.
Lollipop Will in the building.
Lollipop Will, there you go. All right.
Salute,
we appreciate
y'all.
you guys. Have a good one.
Blessings.
Yes, sir.
Blessings, y'all.
All right.